Hello and welcome to another episode of Odyssey Strength Podcast, joined by yours truly, Giannis Xopoulos, and
Jackson Mansudi.
we want to thank you for joining in for another episode. Hopefully we can give you some takeaway tips that can help improve your health and fitness journey, make the whole process a lot easier and more sustainable. If you're interested in coaching, you can reach out to either of us on our Instagrams. I'm Coach Xopoulos _OS.
Coach Jackson Mansudi _OS.
Or you can DM the Instagram page, Odyssey Strength, or find us on the website, odysseystrength.com.au. Let's get into the episode.
We're on?
We're on.
We're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Bit of a hiatus.
Yes, within a month, it's been sorely missed.
It's because Tam was away, right?
Yeah, and I think we just had
Fucking Tam.
we had some shit on Mondays.
Yeah, we've
Oh,
been,
it was a public holiday too.
yeah, we've been busy. We've been busy.
Busy.
You know?
But now we're back.
Busy.
It's good.
What's been happening?
Sick again. No
Lovely.
surprise.
Awesome.
Within the month, but up the dose, vitamin C through the ears, nose, and mouth. We'll be good.
Are you training this week?
I am, yeah. I'm not sick enough to stop training.
How's
I know I sound sick, and when I wake up, I feel like shit. But once I'm moving, I don't have any strength decrease. My recovery, it probably takes a hit overall in terms of like maybe session to session. But while I'm in the session, no changes whatsoever. Like, I think it comes down to
What do they say? If it's above your shoulders, you're fine. If it's below your shoulders, you're no good. Is that what it is?
in regards to what?
Sickness and training.
Yeah, so you mean like body soreness and stuff?
Yeah. So it's like if you've got a headache and a runny nose, you're fine. But if you're like chest cough, like that stuff, like
I think there's some etiquette or some
oh, bro,
some
if someone
moral
rocks up to the gym
Yeah.
sick, I'm fuming.
some moral
I'll be
compass
so
comes with
annoyed.
that. Like, I don't have a cough, I don't have a runny nose. I'm literally just congested. Like, I have hay fever.
Yeah.
I'm not coughing or anything like that. So for me, I go, okay, I don't go anywhere near anyone at the gym as well. So there's no reason for me not to train. And my recovery is still good. If I'm coughing and sputtering and all the time,
I'll slap you.
I'm not going to the gym. I think it's unfair to everyone else who goes there to stay away and just be that person who does the right thing.
100%. It's two things like when it comes to gym etiquette. One, don't be sick, and two, don't smell.
Oh,
Don't
we've
smell.
spoken about that before.
We've spoken about it all the time. It's my biggest pet peeve. Like, don't fucking stink. Like, have some self-awareness. I actually take pride in my ability to be very self-aware when I'm in the gym. Like, if I see someone struggling, spot-wise, just lost, whatever, I'm like, are you good? Like,
I
do you
think it
need
comes
help?
down to being present and comfortable. I think a lot of people feel very uncomfortable, not regardless to do with the actual gym environment itself. I feel like it's around other people. Like, if you notice,
Bro, I was in the gym. Sorry to cut you off. I was in the gym on Saturday. And Saturday is like one of my favorite days to train. You know,
the vibe's different.
the vibe's different, chill. Everyone's there just like trying to catch a pump. It's good energy, right? I'm there. I'm looking for a D handle, like the handle for the cable.
Yeah.
And it's like next to this lady who's on the cable. And I pull my headphone out. I was like, sorry, are you using this? And she doesn't even look at me. She just puts her hands up and goes like this. And I'm like, use your fucking words, mate.
Are you sure she speaks English?
But I don't care. Just say no. Like, if I pointed at it, it's like you can tell what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then even another guy is just like, I was like, are you using that? And he's like, I'm like, bro, just people know how to speak. It's just like when people don't use their words when you ask them a question, to me, it's disrespectful.
The one that does me more than that is when you're trying to communicate for how many sets someone has left.
Yeah.
And I get with the
yeah, the fingers.
or like
yeah,
you can't just tell me.
Yeah.
Or you don't. You might not want to, but I've made the effort to come over here and
I assume the worst when it comes to that, so I go aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you have any left? And they just like, two more. I'm like, cool, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Like I say, cool, I'm gonna wait here. Like I say that because it's just like if I feel like in those situations, if you don't assert yourself in the position that you're gonna wait for it, they're gonna take the piss out of it.
Yeah, like I think I waited like 6 sets for a Smith machine.
Yeah, because you can ask me to jump in with you, but I know they're not going to.
Yeah.
So I assume the aggressive position, because I know someone did that to me, coming up to me saying, "How many do you have left?" or "Are you done?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Feel free to jump in."
Yeah.
Because like,
yeah, you're not moving.
yeah, because like the thing is I'll still be the nicer person and let them work in.
Mm.
Whereas like I know they're not going to do that most of the time.
Yeah.
For me, it was like today, was doing push. Someone let me jump in on the Smith machine. That's never happened. So I was like shocked, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much."
First for everything, yeah.
Yeah. But even just like on Saturday, I ran into a mate and I was talking and I was yapping for like 10, 15 minutes. I walked away from the Smith machine. My bag was there, and I came back and someone was using it. And I was like, "You know what? Fair play." They're like, "I'm sorry. Do you want it back?" I'm like, "No, I was talking shit.
Yeah.
Take it. When
Fair.
you're done, if you don't mind, can you please come find me?"
Yep.
Like, that's fair enough. Like, just take responsibility and ownership of that. If you're talking shit or you're like, you lose a spot, or like let people work in with you.
Yeah. Gyms are funny. They're very funny environments. People like they go to a communal place to achieve the same thing, yet they don't want to work in harmony. It's very strange.
We all pay the same gym membership, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's
we're all
very
paying
strange.
to be there. We're all trying to use a spot. Like, you know.
And I understand maybe okay, like if a 5'3" female is working in with a 6 foot male, that probably won't work because of the weight and the settings on the machine. You know, you've got machines now that have countless settings.
Yeah.
Leg pads, knee pads, back pads, chest pads, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But if you're like, if it's a pin loaded machine and there's really not much to change, there should be literally no reason why you can't share. It makes everyone's day better and easier and faster. You can actually get out of the gym better. I know some people go there to mental break and all that kind of stuff, but like some of us just want to go in and work and then get out. I don't want to spend 2 hours at the gym.
Yeah. Not only that, like, you know, I could even make the argument that with my goals at the moment, that my training is a higher priority than someone else's. I could make that argument, but I'm not going to, because that's just not the case.
Yeah.
So it's like, if some Joe blows on the fucking leg extension saying, "Sorry, I've got 30 seconds rest," it's like, brother, I'm 12 weeks out. You're fine. Like, you'll be sweet. Your 30, your extra 10 seconds rest is not going to ruin your fucking gains. Like, bro, I'll let anyone jump in with me. I just don't, like, it doesn't bother me. And I'll help them too. I'll put the fucking weight on they want. Like,
yeah, but I think it's a pride thing for most people. Yeah. I think having spoken to people in Fitness First, especially because that's the most commercial setting I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Right. Busy. Fitness First been around for a long time. A lot of people go through the doors at Bondi. I think personally it's a pride thing where, you know, maybe the client that we're training, or if we're training, you're going to use a bit more weight than them, or you're going to make it look a lot easier than they are, and they just don't want to cop it, or they don't want to even think about the interaction that's going to come from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I think also just like you should just have the respect that we're all trying to do the same thing, and that you can make the effort to let people work in with you. It's like you got two we got 2 leg presses, technically one at work, because the other one isn't that good, and it's like you got to make it work.
Yeah, I see it a lot all the time. It's just like, oh no, like I'm still going. It's like, just let that person in. They'll be done in 3 sets. By the time you're finished resting, they've done their set and everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
But when that day comes, maybe
that'll be when we have our gym and we set the standard, and there'll be a patrol person.
I tell you what. I shouldn't say if. When we have OS gym, if I see someone not sharing, you're not training there. I swear to God.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
It's the worst environment. It's the worst environment to be in.
You breed that environment. Yeah.
It's not right.
It's like people say when they come to certain gyms, like no one puts their weights away. I was like, yeah, well, it's just the standard that's been set.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuckers.
So you woke up what weight this morning?
81.9.
Where'd you start? You were in like 78s, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's progress, bro. It's good.
Progress, yeah. It's finally moving in the up direction.
What's changed?
Well, I had a very extremely good week. I think I mentioned to you that I started using chronometer.
Oh yeah.
I don't love it. After our conversation, I don't love it. I think that so for context, there's MyFitnessPal and there's chronometer.
Yeah, on what you can track your calories with. Yeah.
There's the two main. You got Fat Secret, which is not bad.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's not bad. But MyFitnessPal has the biggest database possible, which is a good and a bad thing. It's good because you can probably find some more niche things if you search for it.
Well, the good thing is you can add your own as well.
Correct. But the bad thing is if you're not well versed in how to add or you don't actually know what you're doing, you get like thousands of entries of just shit.
Yeah.
There'll be chicken breast with carbohydrates in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? So in that sense, I like MyFitnessPal, and I'm still on the same rate of payment for that as I was.
I just get the yearly one.
Yeah, but now like it's way more expensive.
Yeah, I know.
It's like $125 now.
For the year?
Yeah.
I think I pay $120.
No, I'm still on like $80, bro.
Oh, really?
From fucking early day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And you have to pay for the barcode, whereas the free version, you never used to have to pay for the barcode scanner.
Yeah.
For some people, that's a deal breaker. For me,
it's not.
It's not.
No, because our goals are important.
Because who gives a fuck? You type in the numbers instead of scanning the barcode.
Yeah.
Right? Or you search it.
Yeah.
But my point being is I was able to see, what I was having across the week. And I think because my nutrition's been so consistent as of late, probably like the last 2 weeks, and it's just honestly, it's just like making simple choices. My diet now is like there's 2 options for every meal. There's nothing else, which has been the simplest thing.
Yeah,
I'll eat half a tub of yogurt. Great. Not that I fucking froth yogurt that much, but it's got good protein in it. It tastes nice and it satisfies me.
Yeah, my food choices, especially now, are purely based on what do I need to hit.
Yeah.
Like there's no, I'd prefer this. It's just like.
And performance-wise as well, like I've noticed and this is it's not even rocket science either. It's like the better your nutrition is and the more consistent your nutrition is, the less moving parts, the better the equation is in the gym. Like no bloating, no digestion problems. Because before, like I was having a lot of different foods to try and mix it up, like you're eating so much food. But my digestion was all over the shop. It could be one day great, one day really bad. I actually can't afford that to happen. Because then, if you are bloated or if you do have like more trips to the bathroom, more fiber, you're not going to want to eat because you're like, okay, if I eat, I got to go shit it out.
100%.
So it's not fun. So I just reduced my diet choices and now it's bad.
Yeah, it's actually a great segue as to what we're talking about today.
Very good.
Yeah, so Giannis and I, as of today, are releasing a macro calculator, or we're calling it the muscle calculator, on our website. So if you guys are interested and you want to work out what your calories are, whether your goal is fat loss or muscle gain, head to our website, odysseystrength.com.au/muscle calculator. You'll find it on there, or you can head to the link in our bios. Little cheeky plug there. But, we use calories as the guide and macros as the guide to our decision-making processes when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah.
And I think, to give it simply, at least for the first part, it's establishing energy balance, being the calories you need either to be at maintenance, to be in a deficit, which is body fat loss, and to get jacked or build muscle, which is in a calorie surplus. I like to go by the guidelines of protein is king for muscle growth, carbohydrates is fuel for training, and fats is almost like just, I'd say, variations in diet and hormone regulation, you could say.
Yeah. Fats is a funny one. Like I was a big advocate for like low fat and then high fat. And like, I think it's going to be person dependent. If you're someone like, let's break it down a little bit more. If you're someone who is trying to put weight on, it's okay to have a higher fat diet, but you need to prioritize carbohydrates. Like my own diet at the moment is over 500 grams of carbs a day. Right. But also my fats are 90 grams of carbs, 90 grams of fats a day. So like it's quite high. There's some days where I don't even reach 90 grams of fat because I don't personally need it in my diet. I feel good.
It's there for the variation,
It's there to put a little bit of oil on something.
Yeah.
A little bit more cheese, or you want a piece of chocolate or something like that.
And
like,
it also just helps bring the calories up.
That's all it is. It's like at the end of the day, you're not going to eat a bowl of plain rice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to. But point being is like it's there to give you a little bit more variation in the diet. When you do want to go down to maintenance, you'd probably have more of an even split, or maybe just a little bit more carbohydrates than fats, just to try and fuel performance. That's going to be number one with any type of physique aspiration goals. And then obviously dieting, fats is probably the first one to go because carbohydrates helps keep muscle and regulate performance as well. Like it's pretty simple. When you know the reason for what happens, then you can say, okay, I know I'm making the right decision. But you have to know the baseline first. Otherwise, you can't make decisions.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the calories are just the things that are going to... Actually, my post was great about it.
I was going to say, your post was fantastic.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, I have to use this.
Yeah.
It's like calories determine your weight, macronutrients determine how you look, and micronutrients determine how you feel.
Yeah.
It's like if you can just honestly live by those three things, you will have a phenomenal physique, you will regulate your body weight amazingly, and you will perform great in the gym and recover well too.
Yeah.
When it comes to, let's say you go and download or you go and use the calculator and you're wondering, okay, cool, I've got my macros now, my calories now, and I know these things. Like, what do I need to know about tracking? Well, if you're a client, you actually get a how-to video on how to use MyFitnessPal, which is what we recommend because it's just got the largest database.
Yep.
In my opinion, it's probably the easiest to use.
Hands down the easiest. Chronometer, it does take some getting used to. I wouldn't recommend it for first-time trackers. No.
Yeah, it's whatever floats your boat, really.
Yeah.
But we go by MyFitnessPal. So you got all these calories, you got these macros. You're like, cool, I want to get shredded or I want to build muscle. Like, it's giving me those calories. Now what? It's like, you need to understand when it comes to tracking your calories, it is just an estimate. It is just a guesstimation. And you will have to find a bit of wiggle room and finding your feet with it in the first at least 3 to 4 weeks. When we get new clients, I always say to my clients, this first 2 to 4 weeks is our habit building phase, and we're just trying to figure out how your body's going to react to this amount of food. Yeah. And then we'll make adjustments. But in terms of like the key tips you need when it comes to tracking your macros, track your liquids, which means your oils, your coffees, your juices, your drinks, unless it's water or Coke Zero.
Or black coffee.
Then weigh everything.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to understand, I shouldn't say we have to understand. It's still a thing that people think that, 200 grams of chicken has 200 grams of protein. We have to understand that the weight of an item, so this coffee might weigh 150 to 200 mils in weight. That doesn't mean that there's 200 mils of fats or grams of fats in there.
Yeah.
Right. It has a weight, and that weight of that food will have a guesstimate of macronutrients in it. So, we say 200 grams of raw chicken will have about 30 to 35 grams of protein in it. Maybe less, give or take. Right. But you need to be able to weigh your foods, ideally raw, to be able to get a good estimate of what it is that you're consuming. Now, if that's not possible, that's okay. You can work around it, but you need to be consistent with whatever you're tracking. So if you're going to weigh your chicken after it's cooked, that's great. You need to continue that moving forward. Just pick something and stick with it. Otherwise, you're going to have too many different variables.
Yeah, I think, too often I see people saying, I eat a lot of protein or I eat well. It's like, do you eat well though? Because eating well and then measuring what you're eating is very, very different, because you can do both and you can do that exceptionally, but you need to have consistent measures of that you're taking to be consistent with your food. So for me at the moment, and this is the thing that I love to do with clients, which is give them the calories in a meal guide.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you are getting consistent with the foods that you're eating, which you should be, because if you eat somewhat the same thing 5 to 6 days a week, you'll probably notice a big difference in your physique and your performance, because your body can digest it properly and it knows what's coming in and what's going out. I always say follow the meal guide 95% and, do the rest with calories. So on the weekend, if you're going, I got a lot of young guys at the moment who are trying to put on weight. It's like, you know what, bro? Like if you're going to the pub with your mates and you kind of have to get around 30, 40 grams of protein, It's like, go have a steak, and it's like you got the carbs and the fats. Like, get some chips and a salad with your micronutrients in there, and you're ticking all the boxes. You know, or if you're in a dieting phase and you want to go have a meal with your partner, it's like pick the best option there. Have the meal plan 85% of the day, and then save some for after. And if you want to go get some fucking ice cream after it as well, you can.
Yeah.
This is where the calories and the meal plan go hand in hand, because you have the ability to make choices for yourself, which is what calorie tracking should do. So you have a good understanding of nutrition and knowing that's got protein, that's got carbs, that's got fat, and you know exactly how to make those decisions based on your goals.
Yeah, like I went out on Friday and then yesterday, so Sunday, both Asian restaurants. Okay. I knew, like when you think about, let's say Chinese, it's Chinese food, right? High in sodium, high in MSG, probably high in fat.
Probably the worst thing.
Probably the worst thing you can pick. There is no way you could track it unless you make it yourself. And
100%. And you're not using all the shit in it.
Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Wildly, a good way to wildly put on weight, right? But you got to know that going into that meal, there's no physical way to track it. I could say that a bowl of fried rice is at least 1,000 calories, and it probably is.
Definitely.
Like, there's literally no way to track it. But if the rest of the day before that meal is A1, I can be comfortable knowing that I'm still in pursuit of my goals, and I'm still able to enjoy this social setting, because that's what it's for. It's the social aspect over that. Otherwise, if I wanted Chinese, I would eat it by myself at home, but I don't do that, right? Because it's got nothing to do with the food. It's the social aspect of it, right? So if that's you, and depending on your goal, so according to muscle gain, maintenance, or deficit, if you're in deficit, Chinese is out. No Chinese. But then you just need to make sure, like Jackson said, that the rest of the day is, okay, did I get most of my protein in today? Because when you go to a restaurant, generally it's not going to be very protein heavy unless you go to a steakhouse.
Yeah.
Right? Then have I left enough calories for the rest of the day that I can have this meal? It doesn't put me too far over. If not, then I need to make some changes elsewhere. If the goal is, maybe maintenance or deficit, right? Muscle gain, you can have a little bit more leeway. You don't really have to worry. 15% can be higher or lower. Not really a big deal. But we need to make, small changes elsewhere, especially the day after, I think anyway, to account for the increased intake.
Yeah, definitely. I always say for people who are in that little bit more of a lenient time is that your habits don't carry over to the next day. So it's like you have the meal, you enjoy it, move on, next.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and then it comes down to as well making sure that the places you're getting your nutrients from or your carbs from is good as well.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we talk about is like, be careful of the marketing out there of the high protein bars and the cereals and whatnot. It's like, I'm sure if you have 120 grams of Nutri-Grain, you can probably get 20 grams of protein out of it.
You can.
Definitely. But that's also around 500-600 calories.
Yeah.
That's assuming that you're weighing it too, because a bowl of cereal for some people is 120 grams. And for others, if they weigh it out for what you should be having,
a serving is 30 grams.
It's 30 grams. Yeah. So that's significantly different in terms of the overall volume of the meal.
When you put it in a bowl and you weigh it, I think you're right. Once you start weighing it and you can see, Cocoa Pops for me was the biggest example. I went through a Cocoa Pops phase.
I love Cocoa Pops.
We were consuming at least 120 grams of Cocoa Pops.
Yeah, definitely.
100, 120, right? That's a fucking huge bowl.
If your goal is to put on size, fuck, man, by all means, go for it. Like,
Man.
If you got a 3,500 calorie goal, you best believe I've written meal plans with Cocoa Pops in there.
Yeah. And, if you're someone who, for a reason, wants to have Cocoa Pops on a maintenance or whatever it might be, a deficit, I don't know.
It would be a very unwise decision.
You better be lean as fuck. But 30 grams is literally nothing. It's maybe like a handful.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And you'll look at it and go, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
you'll probably pick something like a rice or a bagel or potatoes or something that's going to give you a little bit more bang for your buck, but you won't know unless you weigh it. So it's not only we're not saying, the rest of your life has to be weighed, but when you have a goal, it's very, 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 very important to be able to know what you're consuming.
Definitely.
It's like, okay, I have a credit card. You don't just go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, I'm trying to save for a house. So I'm going to go buy a pair of 4 or 5 pairs of shoes because, it doesn't matter. I'm putting them all on Afterpay. Doesn't matter.
Oh, interest. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's all good. No stress. But yeah, like I think as well, one of the things that is great about our macro calculators actually tells you the best bang for bucks per 100 grams in terms of protein, because we know that that's where some people struggle. So our recommendations is always like best bang for buck is always going to be your poultries, right? Your chicken, your meat, your steaks, your salmon, your fish, like all that stuff is like, if you're trying to get protein in and you're trying to hit a protein goal, like you should be consuming 95% of your protein sources through that.
Yeah. And whey protein.
And whey protein. Yeah.
It's so cheap.
Yeah. Chicken breast is my favorite. I know some people prefer chicken thigh just because of the extra fat. I think it really just depends on the goal, but like you just need to cook it properly.
Yeah, look, I think for most people the problem comes down to the preparation of it. It's very slimy. It's fatty and all that kind of stuff. Alternate between the two. Like I think when I eat too much of one, I move to the other. If I eat too much of the other, I move to the other. So
this is the thing as well, though, right? This is why I love the meal plan, because over the course or the lifetime of a client of mine, I might give them 3 meal plans over the course of a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like you get used to just rotating the same foods. Like I've eaten the same 20 foods for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
I think once you start to iron out, the small creases and the training starts to become automatic, the diet is literally the only thing that changes. It's like changing out a walking lunge for a split squat. It's okay. We just change one small thing.
It's a variable. Yeah.
It's a variable. I might go from, this bread to this bread or this rice to this rice. You're replacing one and in the same.
I've gone from chicken and rice to mince and rice to chicken and potatoes to minced potatoes to fish and potatoes. It's like I've just rotated those things, and it's either oats, cream of rice, or eggs.
Yeah.
And it's like just depending on the goal. If I'm up, it's like eggs, can afford it.
Yeah.
Or cream of rice can get heaps of volume in for high calories because it's just broken down rice.
Yeah.
And you can chuck a bunch of toppings in to make it more dense.
Yeah.
Same thing with chicken and rice. If it's chicken and rice, thigh, can add more rice. For dinner, it's probably change potatoes into something else because you want a bit more calories. If you're dieting right now, like I am, it's like you got potatoes in because more volume, less calories. It's once you know it and you understand it and you've done it for a long time, you'll find you eat the same shit most of the time, but you're just turning dials.
Yeah.
This goes up, this goes down. This goes down, this goes up. Carbs go up, protein goes up if you're dieting, carbs come down, fats come down. Protein comes down if you're going up, carbs go up, fat goes up a little bit as well. And you do that, rinse and repeat, and then before you know it, you're in a position where you're like, holy fuck, I look amazing.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And this macro calculator is there to set you up for a guide to get onto that path. And then once you understand it and you do it, you'll see how it can help you.
Yeah, I think the variability is where people go wrong. Always. I know because I did that for the longest time. I was trying too many different things. You go on Instagram and you open up your explore page and you got like 20 recipes thrown in front of your face. Try this and try this and try this. And you're like, these are all great and well, but at the end of the day, we don't have enough time as it is to give towards preparing meals. If people aren't going to meal prep for 3 days at a time, they're sure as shit not going to make a macro-friendly, fake away or something like that.
Well, this is the thing though, right? Because like, I know we're talking about macros and stuff, and that's super important, but it's like if you're preparing for the week alongside those macros, then you're not getting to lunch and being like, fuck, what do I eat?
Yeah. Oh, man. When I didn't have food, I was in the city last Monday for that suit try on. I got to the city at 11:30, right? So it's kind of like that awkward. It was a public holiday. Everyone was out. I didn't eat. I had a protein shake before I went because I knew what was going to happen. I'd get there. There'd be very limited food options. So I had made the forward decision to have a protein shake before I went because one, then I wouldn't make food-focused decisions when I'm in the food court in Westfield in the city. But two, I wouldn't be, oh my God, I'm starving. I need to eat as much food as possible, which is probably what happens for a lot of people by the time they get to lunch.
That rational thinking goes out the window.
Have you ever gone to Coles or Woolies when you're hungry? You're like, bro,
give me one of everything.
I'm going to buy everything.
Yeah.
You walk down the cookie aisle and you're like, there's a lot of yellow tags. I'm going to start dumping into the cart.
Yeah.
But I'm standing there in the food court and I go, okay, no. I'm okay. I'm actually not going to eat anything from here. Nothing is jumping at me. I'm not hungry. So I'm not going to get anything. I had a coffee. That was it. So then time went by. I was like, okay, a couple hours. I need to get some sort of protein in. What did I have? I had a banh mi. I made the decision, okay, decent amount of carbs from the bread, some vegetables in there, some carrot, cucumber, blah, 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 blah. And a protein source was pork. Not the greatest source of protein. We all know that. But it was either that or I buy something from another place I don't know.
Yeah, there was some controlled variables in there.
I know how that banh mi is going to make me feel. I was A1. It was fine. So I would make that rational decision over buying, I don't know, sushi or something like that where I haven't eaten there before. I'm not trying to fearmonger anyone, but it's always easier to have your bag of protein at work. So if you are getting a little bit snacky and you know you haven't prepped lunch, have a protein shake. And then when lunch comes around, you're able to make a rational decision without thinking, fuck, what am I going to eat? I'm starving.
The best way I describe it, honestly, and I think I've heard James Smith use this example. It's like having a wank before you go on a date. It's honestly that. Because
that's great.
Bro, it's like, because you're going on this date and your primitive instincts are kicking in.
Yeah,
you're
like thinking, it's on.
What can I do to get this girl in bed?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you load off before.
Crank one out.
You're like, come in, you're like, brother, I'm cool, calm, collected. No worries.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. And it sounds silly, but it's like, if you cure those hunger cravings before you even go out, even when you're not even hungry, you're prefacing the night ahead and knowing that, okay, so I know when the fucking fried rice comes out or when the ice cream comes out, you're like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Or when you see the menu, you're not ordering with your eyes.
Yeah.
You're calm, you're cool, you're collected because you just know that, you know what, that is not in alignment with my goals.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday, had my friend's son's first birthday, and I was like, Greek family, food everywhere. I was like, I'm bringing my chicken and rice. I'm going to eat it before everyone gets there. So then when I saw everyone eating, I was like, whatever, have a Coke Zero, had a bit of salad, no dressing, anything. And I was good. And I was like, that's in alignment with the goal right now.
Mm.
So having preparation and being forward thinking is going to allow you to get ahead of the things that you know are going to happen, because we're all going to get in that position at some point where it's like, I'm hungry, I've got no food, I don't know what to do. It's like, just you wouldn't walk into a job interview not prepared.
Yeah.
You know the questions they're going to ask you. You know they're going to say, what are your biggest strengths? What are your biggest weaknesses? Why do you think we should hire? Or tell me about what you understand about what we do as a company.
Yeah.
You know they're asking you those questions. So it'd be fucking silly of you not to think of it before you walk into that interview. Having a level of preparation, as Alex Hormozy says, increases 10 IQ points. Be ahead of the fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to assume, like, let's say most people listening would work in some sort of corporate environment, or actually we train a lot of different people. Let's just say,
whether you're corporate, tradie, school, uni, whatever it is,
something that's not a personal trainer.
You're on time constraints. Whether you're in a class, whether you're on Smoko, whether you're in a meeting, shit happens.
Yeah. The biggest thing would be taking lunch to work. It is going to save you, probably $20 to $25 a day. And
more.
Yeah. And the fact that you know exactly what you're eating makes total sense towards your goals.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't see a reason. Like, even I made, what was it? I made mince and rice for like 4 days in a row. It was fantastic.
It was delightful.
It was fantastic.
Bit of Old El Paso fajita seasoning, shut the gates.
Brother, people look at it and they go, oh, I had one guy in my gym, no names. Oh, what's that? I was like, mince and rice. He's like, oh. I was like, you want to try it? He's like, no, I'm good. But for me, I know it tastes good.
Yeah,
I couldn't give a fuck. Could not give a fuck. Supports my goal, digests really well. I feel great. I know what's in it. I made it from scratch. It's good.
As someone who's dieting, who's always got an opinion on my diet because everyone else is the expert, it's just like, you're not going to give a fuck what people think because you're going to be looking cracker.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Because, like, if you look good, they can say what the fuck you want while you're eating your chicken and rice. But, like, you know what, bro? I got fucking veins coming out of everywhere. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. All of a sudden, a female walking around with extra 5 kilos, and it's usually going to go straight to your legs and your ass. Yeah. People are going to go, what's the secret? What's the secret? No secret.
You know what the secret is? They went and downloaded and used our macro muscle calculator, and now all of a sudden they're fucking jacked.
That's a big secret, that one.
I think we'll wrap it up there. So, guys, if you found something useful from this episode and you want to support us, just like, share, subscribe, comment, give us feedback, share it on your stories, whatever it might be. And if you guys want to go ahead and figure out what your calories are so that you can either lose weight, get jacked, whatever it might be, odysseystrength.com.au /muscle calculator. There it is.
Go get it.